what? I need to stop. I need to back off a little bit. And I told him, I said, I used to rip on Ohio State fans all the time. And, now that I got to know you, I'm going to stop doing it because it's not fair to paint you all with one brush. And he looked me dead in the eye and he said, Doug, we deserve it. I'm like, oh, well, maybe. But I need to stop.
Why? You don't really believe this.
Yeah, I do.
You're fibbing me right now as you're smiling.
No, it's just I need to be nicer. Just in general, just to be nicer.
What is it? Because of election time? Is this what we need to?
I just want to be nicer. Just in general.
You're not a nice enough guy as it is?
When it comes to that, we can all grow a little bit, right?
What is going on?
I don't know. I just felt bad.
What happened here?
I just feel bad for telling Raphael he sucked. Seemed like a nice guy.
He didn't seem to care so much.
Actually took it very well.
Yeah.
He said it was flattered.
He gets it.
Say that.
Yeah, he did say it. It was almost as if it was like, bring it on. What else you got?
It was badge of honor for him, wasn't it?
You should feel bad if you had tacked on to that and started making stuff up.
And I just also want to put this. I didn't start this. Like, I didn't go out spitting on Ohio State fans. They spit on me. So, well, it wasn't me. It was my coat, but whatever.
What kind of a suit is that, by the way?
I don't know. What, the guy walking outside?
Yeah, it's like hurts my eyes. It was like a black and white checkered, like an optical illusion on that thing.
248-539-9797. Let's go to Dan in Bloomfield. Hi, Dan.
Hi, good morning or good afternoon.
What's up?
Hey, my take on that is, with the 42 and the 20 or 22 pitches, it's not as much about the number of pitches. I mean, it obviously is on the wear on the arm, but what he did is he let more guys get an extra peek at a guy that they don't see, but maybe once a year because of the interleague stuff. And your closer, and he's the hardest thrower out there anymore in this series. You got the stud. Why give these other guys, when there's still games to be played, why give them another crack, another at-bat against this guy? So between those two games, how many batters did he face versus a normal closer, hits 3 to 4 on a given night if he's having success. And in a series, the same guy might hit him once or twice, but I just think it's the extra at-bats that you gave those batters against the hardest thrower in there.
Additionally, Dan, here's this. And for people just joining us, we're talking about Joe Maddon's decision last night in the World Series to keep he went with Aroldis Chapman in the 7th with 2 on and 2 outs, up 7-2, and got out of that inning, which was good. But then he left him in for the 8th, the entire 8th, and then he started the 9th. My issue with this is there is a tank. And while you think of the closer going one pitch, let's say they go to the 7th in a tie game and he goes to him tonight, and he pitches the 7th, and he pitches the 8th, and he pitches the 9th. I mean, eventually that tank is going to be closer to empty because he used him somewhat superfluously yesterday.
No, and I agree that there's obviously the tank issue, but you said it yourself. How many guys faced him in that 8th inning yesterday?
Well, I mean, he threw an inning in a third and gave up 1 hit and 1 walk. So you've got the 4 batters who got out, a hit, and then the walk would be 6.
And then the night before, I'm just saying.
But he didn't pitch the night before. He pitched
2 nights before. It was 2 nights before that. But it was the game prior, yes, where he pitched 3.
Saying, when you've got your closer, that's the one thing about the closer. You see that closer. You got 9 guys batting, and you got some pinch hitters. You see that closer on a weekend series, you might get 1 or 2 cuts against them, at bats against them, and that's part of the beauty of a closer is that he's coming in and every batter doesn't have every at bat against them, and so you just gave more at bats. That's the bigger thing.
It's another subtlety of using him.
Well, I think it's valid, but the way that both of these managers use, like Chapman and Miller in particular, to go extra innings if they have multiple innings if they have to. That's just how it is with these guys. They're kind of a throwback to the 80s when pitchers used to get the 2-inning save, and we rarely see it now, but these guys have done it all. I mean, Chapman in 4 of his last 5 outings, dating back to the NLCS and then the in games in the World Series, he's gone more than an inning.
248-539-9797. Let's go to Aaron in Clarkston. You're next. Hi, Aaron.
Hey, guys. Hey, real quick point. I'm going to talk about the playoff thing real quick, but a point about Aroldis Chapman I don't think anybody's paying attention to is Aroldis Chapman takes between 30 and 50 pitches hard throws to even warm up. I mean, that's a common fact if you watch the Cubs or you watch in Cincinnati. So if he's warming up every other night, I don't see where everybody's making such a big deal. So I think everybody's missing that point.
Well, here's the other thing with him is he hasn't thrown a whole lot of back-to-back games, and even when he does, he's not throwing many pitches. Look, in his last 10 games when he's been in there, and these are all playoff games, he has only thrown more than 20 pitches 4 times, 21, 23, 20, and 42. There's the one crazy game they had a couple games ago. Besides that, he's been very economical.
So you would have used him the way you would have used him the way you would have used him.
No.
Then why do you keep making the argument?
Because I don't think it has my 51. It's not that big of a deal.
It's potentially not big a deal. It's potentially not. Well, what if they put him in the 6th tonight and he runs out of gas in the 9th?
They're not going to put him in the 6th inning.
Well, let's say it goes to extras and they have to pull him because he's eventually out of gas. It's 20 pitches and 3 stand up and sit downs that he didn't have to do.
I guess you cross that bridge when you get to it, but if you don't get to it, whatever. I mean, you've got one more game left in the season. This is it. It's all or nothing tonight. Yeah. There is no tomorrow, and using him for 20 pitches last night really was not that big a deal.
It could be.
Hey, so real quick, a scenario I want to throw at you guys. This is the main reason I called. So if Michigan goes into Ohio State and loses, Ohio State represents the East, most likely against Wisconsin. If Wisconsin turns around and beats Ohio State, which this is very likely could happen, because I'm not trusting Michigan after what I've seen them do against an incredibly inferior state team. If that scenario happens, which it could,
sure,
that's what we got. We've got a Big Ten that does not represent the playoffs. So he does, because they're not going to take a 2-loss Wisconsin.
I think they might.
I don't think they will.
You're going to pass up Louisville for them? You're going to pass up Washington for them?
I mean, think
all
they
these
might.
Teams most likely will have 1 or less losses.
I'm with you. I don't think there's any way they take a 2-loss Big Ten team.
Let me just back up.
But I also don't think they're going to have a 2-loss Big Ten team being represented.
What you just said could happen.
It could happen. It could happen to a bunch of different conferences. Like what you just said, it could happen to a bunch of different conferences where the dominoes fall in such a way that they get left out. What you described was Wisconsin winning out, Ohio State and Michigan. I guess it doesn't matter if they win out, but Michigan losing in Columbus and Wisconsin beating Ohio State. If Washington loses one game, the Pac-12 could be out. Probably is out.
I think they're definitely out if they lose.
But so it could absolutely happen, and it could leave Wisconsin out. I don't think it would necessarily, although now for some reason I can't bring up the standings. Where's Wisconsin? Where the hell is Wisconsin in these?
Where the hell? Where's the record?
Was I? They're 8th. If Wisconsin wins out, including a victory over Ohio State, yeah, I think they'd have a shot.
Not with 2 wins.
Not a great shot.
I'm sorry, not with 2 losses. I don't see it. Unless you start to see other 2-loss teams.
Louisville has no big cards to play yet the rest of the way. They're not going up. They'll pass Ohio State, who's at 5, and then all they need is Washington or Texas A&M to lose. Right?
Well, I'm trying to look at Louisville's schedule. Now, Louisville, they beat Florida State 63-20.
Where's Florida State?
Well, they're still ranked, aren't they?
Just barely.
Right, but they were number 2 in the country when they beat them. You can't take that away from them.
Doesn't matter.
They lost to Clemson, number 5. That's their only loss by 1 score, 6 points.
They can't.
And that was the game.
I don't see them improving their resume the rest of the way. Houston has killed them.
Well, they still have a Houston game.
They do have a Houston game, but Houston's lost twice. The book was they couldn't afford to lose once, and now they've lost twice, and they just hung on and barely beat UCF. The same UCF team that Michigan routed.
Yeah, I would take a Louisville team, a 1-loss Louisville team when their 1 loss is to Clemson over a 2-loss Wisconsin team that beat Ohio State.
I very well might too. I'm just saying I don't think it's impossible that Wisconsin could possibly get in with 2 losses, given their strength of schedule.
I think it's pretty close to impossible.
248-539-97. Well, you're wrong. You're just wrong.
But I'm not.
97-1 the ticket.